Good day everyone, I am Isabella Fermin from Bised 1F and today I will explain the Asian community. Let's start. Number 1, Barangay as Asian community. The Balangay or Barangay represented an independent community in the archipelago ruled by a dato, raha, or lakan. There were, however, instances where a dato of a certain barangay was aided by a council of elders in running the affairs of the barangay, similar to privy council of European monarchs. In that patriarchal society, the dato and his family constituted the highest authority in the barangay and were therefore considered the equivalent of European monarchs. His rule was absolute. He dispensed justice and declared war against other barangays. Therefore, at the apex of pre-Spanish nobility in the Philippine archipelago was the dato, the term commonly used by the Tagalogs. In Mindanao, sultan and raja were used accordingly for the highest chief of their respective communities. Barangay is used to be their form of government. The name barangay is originated from balangay, a male word for sailboat. It may compose about 30 to 100 families. Every barangay is autonomous and is ruled by either dato, raha, or lakan. Explain social hierarchy or social classes. During pre-Spanish times, Filipinos can be divided according to these classes. The noble class, called the Maginoo, the freeman, called the Timawa, the warrior class, called the Maharlika, and the indentured class, called the Alipin. The Maginoo were the ruling class, the educated class, the royal class, and the privileged class. It was from this class that the dato would come from. The dato is the leader of the community called a barangay. He is the chieftain, somewhat synonymous to a monarch, raja, sultan, or king. The freeman class, known as the Timawa, probably made up the bulk of the barangay community. They were free. They could acquire property, acquire any job they want, pick their own wives, and acquire an alipin. They were, however, expected to pay taxes and support the Maginoo class. They are the only class to pay taxes and hence their importance in the community. The Maharlika had all the rights of the Timawa, but they are specifically the warrior class. They were well respected if not revered by the barangay. Unlike the Timawa, they were not expected to pay taxes. They would provide protection to the barangay and were responsible for providing and preparing the weapons at their own expense. A Maharlika could change their allegiance to another barangay by marrying into it or by simply moving to it. This, however, required paying a certain amount to his datu. A feast would be given in his honor when leaving the barangay. The alipin had the least rights. They are not exactly slaves in the traditional sense, but they were indentured servants. Basically, they served their masters who belonged to one of the classes above them, but it does not mean that they did all the work in the barangay. The Timawa were probably expected to do most of the work in the barangay, and the alipin was likely his or her servant at home, such as doing house chores and cooking, or aided the Timawa with their duties at work. There are two types of alipin. First, aliping namamahay was a servant that lived in their own little house on the property of their masters. And second, aliping sagiglid was a servant that lived around the house of their master. An alipin can actually become free and become matimawa, provided he or she fulfilled the services of their masters. This process is known as tinimawa. The alipin did not likely make any money for their services and hence did not pay taxes. The status of women. The women of the pre-Spanish era were given importance. They could even hold high characters in the communities, like healers, priestesses, and they could even handle leadership roles and fight as warriors. As part of the line for the heir and heiresses of a dato, his daughter could be one of the choices. Men and women were treated equally. They had equal rights. Women had the right to inherit property, and they also had important parts in business and trading. They would weave, do pottery, and make jewelries to be used for exchanging in the market. In other tribes and other foreign traders like the Chinese, they controlled the operations of transactions because their husbands were not allowed to barter unless their wives approved.